Welcome to Reading Lesson 82. Today, we're going to continue reading in our Treats and Treasures reader. If you don't have your book yet, pause the video, go grab your book, and once you have it, open up to page 18. Now that you have your books, you're looking at page 18 where it says Dig Deeper. So we're going to talk about cause and effect. So read along with me as I read aloud to you. Dig deeper about cause and effect. So remember that a good plot has interesting characters, exciting events, and makes you wonder what will happen next. Sometimes one event in a story leads to another to teach us that actions have consequences, good or bad. Authors write these stories to encourage the reader to look for the character's action that caused his success or failure. To find the cause and effect, identify the character's actions and the consequences of those actions. The author may even include clue words such as consequently, as a result, or so. Watch for cause and effect in the next story, The Prodigal Son. So think about it. Match the term to the description. What will you match cause to? Consequence, action, result. Did you say action? If you did, that is correct. What would you match effect to? Did you say consequence and result? If you did, that is correct. So now I'm going to ask a question. You answer it before we move on with our reading. What do all actions have? Did you say consequences? If you did, that is correct. To be even more detailed, all actions have consequences, good or bad. Doesn't matter, there's always a consequence for your action. All right, now I'm going to have you read Prodigal Son on your own, but let me introduce the story to you first. Why would a son demand his inheritance and leave his father? In this story, the younger son will learn the meaning of a father's love and forgiveness. Now, you can find this story in the Bible, and I believe we've talked about it already, but if we haven't, then it's coming up in our Bible lessons. So I want you to pause your video, read The Prodigal Son, which finishes on page 22, and then unpause your video so we can discuss the next part of our reading. Now that you've read The Prodigal Son, I'm going to post those questions that you saw at the end on Google Classroom. But before we do, we have a little bit more reading to do. I want you to look at page 24 in your reader. Here's another dig deeper for us to go over. This time it is problem and solution. So read along with me silently to yourself as I read it aloud to you. Finding the moral of a story can be like a mystery or a puzzle. Sometimes a story will tell you about a problem that the main character must solve. The author tells how the problem is solved through the events of the story. If you're looking for the moral as you read, you may be able to figure out the solution or solve the problem before the main character does. Try to identify the problem and find a solution before the main character does in the next story, The Donuts. So think about it at the bottom. Match the term with the description. What are you going to match problem to? Trouble, action taken, or concern? Did you say trouble and concern? If you did, that is correct, which means solution, you're going to match it to what? Action taken. Okay, so now we're going to start this story called The Donuts. Look at the top of page 25 at the words to watch for as we begin to read this story. Aunt Agnes, chauffeur, Uncle Ulysses, calamity. So as we read Donuts or The Donuts, let me introduce the story. Do you like to eat donuts? In our story, Homer and a few friends get into a bit of trouble with a donut machine. What becomes the solution to their problem? All right, I want you to now read only the first part of the donuts. You're going to start at page 25 and you're going to finish on page 27. I will put questions in Google Classroom to check for understanding on what you have read. Happy reading.